Thank you very much, Senator McBroom. My name is Phil O'Halloran, and I'm a registered voter in Michigan, where I've lived since 1986. My comments are based on sworn affidavits of myself and others in a group I organized, and I'm speaking under oath. I've been a GOP challenger on many occasions dating back to the mid-1990s. I was at the TCF Center on in the general election 2018 and also the August 2020 primary. I saw that ballot security was a serious problem, and chain of custody of the ballots arriving at the TCF Center was virtually non-existent. So in October, I organized a group of volunteers to observe ballot movements from the Department of Elections on West Grand Boulevard to the TCF Center. The following are some of the things our group discovered. While ballots are generally transported by two people, on more than one occasion there was just a single transporter. At the departure point, which was the Department of Elections, the loading of the vehicles was rarely, if ever, supervised by election officials. We saw no transfer paperwork, no people with clipboards logging the departure and arrival times, no logging of the type or number of ballots on departure, or any logging of the type or number of ballots on arrival at the TCF Center. In the Challenger Conference the week before, which someone had earlier mentioned, Director of Elections George Jesus admitted that they do not transport ballots with a chain of custody. Also, I should point out that Challenger Conference was, the only reason I knew about it was I had met with George Jesus before and he invited me. Other people, other activists for the GOP did not know anything about it that I knew of. One man was even photographed carrying 100 blank ballots under his arm in the alley behind the Department of Elections. The ballots were in no container whatsoever, which is required by law. The man said he had been doing this all week long. The ballot transporters are mostly temporary employees hired for the election, and when I asked election officials if the transporters underwent background checks, we were told at the conference that the workers underwent a human resources process, but they would not confirm that any background checks occurred. And these are transporters who often carry thousands of ballots. The transporters frequently arrived at the TCF in an assortment of cars and vans, many with out-of-state plates, and they did not appear to be rentals. On the afternoon of November 4th, I observed a Penske truck that was parked outside the Department of Elections that appeared to be guarded by two men in a city of Detroit pickup parked behind it. They told me that the truck was empty, but when we returned about 4 hours later after dark around 9:30, the two men were still behind the Penske truck. Later at around 10 p.m., after after being barred entry to the TCF Center, I returned and saw the truck leaving the DOE and followed it to the TCF Center, where it disappeared inside the rear service entrance. I then encountered a SWAT team blocking my entrance to the county board and informed the sergeant that if the truck I described was delivering ballots to be counted this late after the close of polls, 26 hours later, that it would be a crime. He said he would not search the truck that night, but would report the incident to DPD. I do not know the result of that investigation or if one took place. I conclude that the lack of a chain of custody and the transport of thousands of absent voter ballots over several days is a serious threat to election integrity, and it makes it impossible to guarantee the results of the election.
Thank you very much, sir. Any questions? No, thank you. Oh, yes, Vice Chair Lucido?
Yeah.
The only question I have is, can we get a copy of, the full copy of your testimony in written form? Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Vice Chair Lucido.
did we get, Mr. O'Halloran, the name, address, and phone number of that transporter who you indicated he's been there doing this all week long? Do you have that name, address, and phone number so we can contact him?
It was more than one. It was many, many people.
The
We
one
have
that
all
you,
that information.
the
yes.
one that's in your testimony, you said the one that you stopped, the name of the individual is what I'm looking for. Is it incorporated in your testimony that you've written out for us?
Not right here. We have that available, though. Yeah.
All right.
So I can't contact him, is that what you're saying?
You can't, well, you're talking about the person who was carrying the ballots or the person who saw them?
The
carrying
man
ballots?
that you said all week long he's been carrying ballots like that.
Yeah, the name at the time was given to the lawyer that we contacted. As soon as this occurred, we contacted a lawyer.
What lawyer was that? I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, for digging deep,
Please.
but these are individuals that are testifying under affidavit that I need to know the name of the lawyer.
Yeah, I believe that it was Mr. Sean Flynn.
John Flynn?
But yeah, I believe we gave the name of the gentleman who saw the man in the street did have a name. I don't know if they wrote it down. They did mention the name, so I don't remember the name offhand.
Mr. Chairman, so that when the, what's called the compounded testimony goes on, I need to know, is there individuals that are signed up, that are transporters, that have to give their name, address, phone number, city, so that we know who these individuals are that are handling the ballots? That be fair?
Correct.
When the committee has the opportunity to speak to the elections officials of Wayne County and the city of Detroit, we should ask that question, but we'll try to get an answer even before then.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. O'Halloran.
Thank you, Senator.